Roman Reigns has broken his silence in a way that has sent a tremor through the WWE universe, transforming the already tense landscape into a battlefield primed for an all-out war against Solo Sikoa's My Family Tree faction. The events that triggered this declaration were nothing short of carnage. On Raw, the MFT, comprised of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, and Jacob Fatu, tore through the locker room like a storm with no warning, no mercy, and no restraint. Their assault was as symbolic as it was physical, dismantling not just opponents but the perception of order within WWE. Fans watched in disbelief as the destruction unfolded, knowing this wasn't a random act of violence but a calculated move meant to send a message to anyone, especially Roman Reigns, who would dare challenge their rise. For weeks, Roman had been operating in near silence, his attention seemingly focused on his groundbreaking and unexpected alliance with Brock Lesnar and CM Punk under the new Shield banner, a move already shaking the foundation of WWE's balance of power. But MFT's Raw invasion ripped the lid off whatever patience he had left. And woven into this conflict is another volatile thread: Seth Rollins' exposure as a fraud after faking an injury to opportunistically cash in on CM Punk, a betrayal that left the locker room seething and may come back to haunt him in ways he cannot yet imagine. In a promo that instantly became one of the most talked about moments of the year, Roman appeared backstage, the air thick with tension, his stare locked dead into the camera lens with a calmness that only made his fury more dangerous. In measured, deliberate words, his voice carrying a lethal edge, he told Solo Sikoa that tearing down Raw didn't make him the tribal chief, that in truth he was nothing more than a placeholder, a pretender to a throne he would never truly understand or earn. And then came the dagger. Roman declared that MFT was not a family, but a funeral waiting to happen, the inevitable collapse of a group built on ambition without loyalty. His promise came with a date: Clash at the Castle. His vow was to come for what was his, an assertion that the war ahead would not be about a single match or a title, but about the soul and leadership of the bloodline itself. The screen cut to black and the sacred Alfala symbol of bloodline leadership flashed, the mark of something deeper than rivalry. This was a statement of heritage, of history, and of a legacy that Roman would not allow to be rewritten by outsiders, even if those outsiders shared his blood. The implications were staggering. Seth Rollins, already exposed and teetering on the edge of disgrace, now finds himself in a chaotic storm. Will he attempt to strike while Roman's attention is divided, or will CM Punk make it his mission to avenge the betrayal first? The Rock's presence looms large in the background of all this. Roman's recent moves suggest that the final boss could be drawn into the conflict, perhaps to confront MFT directly, or perhaps to tip the balance in a way no one expects. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman, the master manipulator, was spotted smirking during Roman's address, raising questions of whether this was part of his strategy all along, whether he is quietly playing both sides to maintain influence over whichever faction emerges victorious. And then there is MFT itself. Jacob Fatu has been unleashed like a weapon of chaos, and whispers swirl that they may have yet another surprise member waiting for the perfect moment to strike, perhaps targeting Roman's new Shield to destabilize him before Clash at the Castle. Roman's promo was more than just a threat, it was the opening salvo of a war that will spill across shows, across factions, and across every storyline in WWE. With MFT rising in open rebellion, Rollins exposed for deception, The Rock's shadow darkening the horizon, and Heyman's loyalties a mystery, the company is hurtling toward one of the most explosive, unpredictable, and deeply personal confrontations in its history. This isn't just a fight for dominance, it's a collision of legacy, betrayal, and vengeance where every player has something to gain and even more to lose. And when the dust finally settles, the bloodline as we know it may be gone forever. Roman Reigns has shattered the silence and sent shockwaves through WWE by declaring all-out war on Solo Sikoa's My Family Tree faction following their vicious and calculated attack on Raw, an assault so destructive it left the locker room in ruins and the WWE Universe questioning the balance of power. The attack, led by Solo Sikoa alongside Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, and Jacob Fatu, was a brutal display of dominance, but Reigns' response was even more chilling. Already making headlines for forging an unlikely but seismic alliance with Brock Lesnar and CM Punk under the reimagined New Shield banner, Roman now has his sights locked on dismantling MFT from the inside out. Adding fuel to the fire is the festering controversy surrounding Seth Rollins, exposed for faking his injury to opportunistically cash in on CM Punk, a betrayal that may return to haunt him at the worst possible time. In a backstage promo that dripped with cold fury, Roman stared straight into the lens and delivered a message that felt more like a death sentence than a warning, calling Solo nothing more than a placeholder and branding MFT not as a family but as a funeral waiting to happen, before dropping the bombshell that at Clash at the Castle, he is coming for what is his. The ominous promo ended with the screen cutting to black and the sacred Alfala symbol of bloodline leadership flashing on screen, a clear signal that this is no mere grudge match but a fight for legacy itself. The looming questions now ripple through the WWE Universe. Will Rollins exploit the chaos to his advantage, or will CM Punk seek vengeance first? Does The Rock's shadow over Roman's recent moves hint at a larger masterstroke that could see the final boss return to confront MFT? Is Paul Heyman, seen smirking during Roman's address, secretly pulling strings and playing both sides to reclaim control? And what is MFT's next calculated move now that Jacob Fatu has been unleashed, potentially setting their sights on Roman's new Shield while holding a surprise member in reserve? Roman's words were not empty threats, they were a rallying cry for war, a signal that the coming weeks will ignite one of the most explosive and unpredictable confrontations in WWE history, with the lines between loyalty and betrayal blurring until the entire Bloodline saga teeters on the edge of complete implosion.